This lesson is on the semicolon. A semicolon looks like a full stop on top of a comma, as shown in brackets here. It signals a stronger break than a comma, but not as strong as a full stop. In other words, it's somewhere between a comma and a full stop. And they're used to split list items when the list items themselves contain commas. They're also used to list instructions and can be used to form compound sentences out of related clauses. Look at some examples. To split list items when the list item themselves contain commas. For example, addresses can often have commas in them, as in, I used to live in Denver, Colorado. So the town and the state are separated by a comma, as we see here. Now look at this sentence. Over the last 10 years, I've lived in Denver, Colorado, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, and Washington, D.C. It's very confusing when we just use a comma, because some of the commas separate a town from a state and some commas separate the list items, and it's really not clear which is which. So this is what we do. We replace the commas that separate the list items with a semicolon and leave the comma that separate the town from the state. And this makes it much easier to read, and it makes the intent a lot clearer. So it still reads the same. Over the last 10 years, I've lived in Denver, Colorado, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, and Washington, D.C. But what we do is when we read it, we leave slightly longer pauses between the semicolons than we do between the commas. And then the intent and the meaning is a lot clearer. Or it can be used to list instructions. As in, your homework is as follows. Task 1, semicolon, task 2, semicolon, task 3. Or we can list them vertically. There are a few tasks we need to complete before the next meeting, and then as listed in bullet points, task 1, task 2, and task 3. Or we can use semicolons to form compound sentences out of related clauses. So if we have two separate sentences, I hope the traffic is light, we don't want to be late for the meeting. Now these two separate short sentences are related. One hopes that there's not too much traffic, and the result of this is they won't be late for the meeting. So they are related. So one way of doing it is with a comma, is to say, I hope the traffic is light, comma, as we don't want to be late for the meeting. Or we can use a semicolon and we don't need then the word as. We just say, I hope the traffic is light, we don't want to be late for the meeting.